Hi, my name is Ian Johnson. I'm here with Finn Preem, and we are your hosts for the Ohio Coyote podcast.
For our podcast today, we'll be talking about some
Spooky stories.
And also, you are going to see some 6-second shorts.
Lastly, we're going to top this off with a racing segment with our two very special guests.
First, we will go to the 6-second shorts with Annalise, Ellie, and Mia.
Hey, welcome. I just need to tune my guitar first. That's all the time we have. Bye.
Bye.
This is Baloo, and he is a Kiger Mustang, and he's at reigning strength.
This is what not to do around a horse. Western is better than English because
That's all the time we have. Goodbye.
That's something that somebody from Ohio will watch, but
Up now, it's a spooky story with Sarah, and Caitlin.
Stories not to tell your children.
Welcome to
Stories Not to Tell Your Children.
We are all your hosts,
Sarah,
and Caitlin. And today we are here to tell you some spooky
stories. I have a story.
What's its name?
It's called A Week Left. Okay. It was a normal day at a normal school. The bell had rung 2 minutes ago, and the students were flooding the hall trying to leave the place called prison. 4 friends meet at a tree where they have always met for the past 7 years. Jacob, Ava, Maria, and Carson. Jacob was always telling stories, and usually nobody would believe him. But the one he told on Friday was called The Bottled Note. The legend says that if you write a name on a small piece of paper and throw it into a lake, somebody named Greg will reserve the note and you will have 7 days to live. He told them, "Join me at the lake tonight," and they all agreed. Later, the group met at the lake. Jacob had papers and bottles for everyone. He handed them out and they wrote their names, as well as the name Greg, 3 times. Then they threw it into the lake and stood there for a while. Eventually, they got bored and Maria went home. As she was watching a video in a room, her power had suddenly turned off and her phone died. She got up and looked around for a charger, but didn't find one. So she went downstairs until she heard a knock at her door. She was about to answer it when all of a sudden, she fell over and looked up. And to this day, nobody knows what happened to her.
What a scam. She even lasted a week.
Yeah, kind of deceiving if you ask me.
I'll go next.
What's the name of the story?
It's called That's My Ring. A young girl named Isabella would steal from the elderly and children. Isabella had decided to steal from an old woman named Laura. She was eating at a restaurant and had put her ring on the side of the table. Isabella runs and snatches the ring. Laura screams, "That's my ring!" Isabella laughs and she puts on the ring on her finger. When she gets home, she tries to pull off the ring, but she isn't able to because it's stuck to her finger. The next day at school, when she's going to the bathroom, she sees a figure down the hallway next to her class. She blinks, it's gone. When she gets home, she sees it standing outside her house, but as soon as she sees it, it's gone. Later that night, she wakes up and sees a black figure standing next to the door. It has long fingers and a big smile with bright red teeth. Isabella is unable to move. As the monster moves closer and closer, she tries to scream. The monster puts his long fingers over her mouth. "I want my ring back," as the monster rips off her finger and smiles. "Thank you," it says, as it leaves, grabbing Isabella by the shirt and dragging her outside the house. She was never seen again.
She steals a lot. A bit thiefy. Is thiefy a word?
Yeah, because she enjoyed it.
I'll go next.
I will tell you a story about a girl named Daisy. A girl named Daisy was lost in the woods. She was with her Girl Scout troop, and her mission was to find berries, but on the way she got lost. She was screaming, "Hello? Is anyone there?" But no one responded. It started raining. She started running, but then she saw a shadow. She slowly stepped forward to get away from it, and she saw it was a bear. She ran so fast, but then fell into a ditch. When she came in, she saw a girl. She was roasting a marshmallow. "Hi," Daisy said. "Hello," the girl said. "Where are we?" Daisy asked. The girl replied, "In the area of the woods no one comes to." "Oh," Daisy said, surprised. She noticed the corner only had a small fire and a few marshmallows. She realized that the ditch was very high and she probably could not get out. She jumped but could not reach the top. "Trying to get out," the girl said. "That's not happening." "Oh," Daisy said, very shaken up. Then the girl says creepily, "Would you like to join me?" No thanks," Daisy said. Then she found a rope in the corner and looped it around a tree and pulled up to the top. "Bye," the girl said. "See you in your nightmares." Daisy screamed. And a few minutes later, she found one of the other scouts and went back to the area they were. But little did she know, the girl was right behind her watching her, but no one could see her because she was actually a ghost.
What happened to her?
Well, the ghost just stopped following her, just kind of got bored.
She thought that girl was interesting enough. She was like, "No, thank you."
Yeah, she only followed her for a week, and then she was like, "I'm done, I'm going back to my marshmallows."
Your story should be called A Week Love, not mine.
Yeah.
Mine didn't last a week.
Yeah. She lasted like an hour.
Yeah.
Not long at all.
No, more like half an hour or like half a day.
Well, thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Spooky
Stories.
Last but not least, we have our racing segment. Meow.
Racing with the Voids with Ian and Finn.
Welcome to our in-car segment. I'm your host, Finn Preem, and today we'll be learning a little bit about our racing and what it takes to be on a race team. And please welcome our first guest, pick remember Patrick Johnson.
Jordan.
Sorry. So, thank you for joining us on our podcast today. I'd like to ask you some questions so we can learn a little bit more about your profession.
Okay.
So for my first question, what got you into racing and how long have you been doing it? And did you have any other careers in mind?
Well, yeah, I was an automotive mechanic for 23 years before I got into auto racing. So got into auto racing later in life, and now I've been doing that for 23 years as well. So always been a mechanic, always worked on stuff, and I used to race my bicycle, then I raced motocross, and so I was a racer.
So you kind of did lots of racing, then now.
And then a friend of mine got me into some other kind of car racing, and then next thing I know, I was doing IndyCar racing.
Oh. So for my second question, can you tell us a little bit about your typical work week?
Typical work week, if during the race season is, we'll prepare the cars early in the week, and then usually have them loaded up by Wednesday or Thursday, depending on the event schedule, and then they get put in the transporters, and away they go to the event. And then we'll usually get on an airplane the next day or the day after and fly to the event, and we'll do the race event. We'll come and, well, there's a race event, so there's a setup day where we set all the equipment up. We take the cars through technical inspection, we fire them up, make sure everything's good, and then the next day we'll do a couple practice sessions, and then potentially, depending on the schedule of the weekend, we'll do a qualifying session. And then the next day is a morning warm-up, where we'll do a race simulated warm-up on the circuit for about 30 minutes. And then we go into the race and do the race, and at the end of the race we get back to the truck, load everything up, and send the truck down the road, and then we get on an airplane either that night or the next morning, come back to Houston. We'll take that day off, and then we come back in on Tuesday and get after it and service the cars, take them all apart and clean them all up and get them ready for the next show.
So you're pretty busy.
Pretty busy. Yeah, and sometimes we stay on the road. We don't even come home. We have a shop in Indianapolis as well, so we'll go to that shop and work out of that shop sometimes, depending on where we're racing in the country.
Nice. So what is your role on the race team, and what part of the car do you work on?
Well, my role is many roles. I actually work on the back end of the car. I do the fuel systems. I install the engine. I install the back section of the car where the gearbox is and all the suspension. But I also do all the decal layouts for the car and on the trailer, and make sure we have all the because we put vinyl on our race cars, so we make sure we have enough of the material to do all that, and lots of jobs.
So you don't work on the engine, you just put it in?
We put it in, yeah. The engines come complete, less all the parts that you put on them. So I put the headers on, I put the clutch on, I put the water pipes and oil pipes on, and then we put it up into the car. So we're growing them a little bit, but we don't actually build them.
Okay. So can you tell us more about the car and who drives it?
So it's a Dallara, a company called Dallara out of Italy that makes the chassis. We have a Chevy engine, which we lease from Chevrolet.
V8?
It's a V6. It's a 2.2 liter V6 twin turbo. It produces 700 horsepower. Our driver is a new driver this year, Santino Ferrucci, but he's been in the racing business a little while, but he's really fast, and we're hoping to have really good results with him.
Yeah. Right. And also, what happens if the car crashes? You have like one more?
Well, it depends on the crash. If the crash is just like if we're street racing and we brush the wall and bend a suspension corner, we'll just fix that particular part. But we carry a spare car in the trailer if we have a catastrophic crash where the car gets hurt. But otherwise, it's just replacing parts on the car if we have a crash.
Yeah. So basically, you don't replace the car. You
Parts.
Parts.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Depending on how severe it is. I mean, if it's a big wipeout, like on the ovals, they're going really fast, and if they hit the wall a certain way, they could, it can damage the whole car. In that case, you get the whole car out, but otherwise, you would just replace components on the race car.
Oh. All right. Thank you for your time.
Great. Thank you.
All right.
Today I will be interviewing a very special guest, the president of Foyt Racing, Larry Foyt. And I have a couple questions for you. What is it like being the son of a four-time Indy 500 winner?
Wow, well, it was pretty cool growing up with having an Indy 500 winner as your dad. And actually, I just remember some of my favorite memories at Indianapolis were the morning of the race and going walking with Dad over to the garage before the race and hearing all the fans cheering for him. It left quite an impression on a young kid. Definitely made me want to be in auto racing for my career.
For the second question, what is your role in the team?
Well, it's kind of changed over the years. As the president, I do help try to build the team, almost like a general manager on a football team, of putting together the best mechanics we can, going out and finding the best driver we can get. And then a lot of times, racing is very expensive. The race cars are expensive, and it takes a lot of money to do it. So nowadays, a lot of my time is working on sponsorships. So I go out and try to meet with the companies that give us the money to go racing, and then we advertise their name on our car.
Have you always wanted to be a part of the Foyt Racing, or have you had other career paths if you had in mind?
Well, growing up and going to school, I played a lot of different sports, not just racing, but as I got older, I definitely knew I wanted to be in racing, but my parents didn't really want me to because it's dangerous. So I did go to college and went to Texas Christian University, but as soon as I graduated, I knew I wanted to drive race cars, so I moved to North Carolina and started driving stock cars.
Nice. Where do you see Foyt Racing in 10 years?
Well, I hope we continue to grow. That's the plan. I mean, that's my job, to go out and find the financial backing to help us continue to grow and be around. We've been racing since the mid-'60s when my father started the team. So for me, it's a legacy that I just want to keep it going and get more race wins and have a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And that's all for today for the racing segment today. Thank you for your time, Patrick Jordan, Larry Foyt. See you next time on the Racing with the Foyts. Wow, that was cool. Well, that was an interesting podcast, would you say?
Yes, I would.
I would like to thank for all of our team and amazing people for all of the effort that they have put into this Ohio Coyote podcast. Bye. See you next time.
It's okay.
Go ahead.
Two. We need more of a push.
Wow, that was cool. Well, that... No, you go. Why would somebody...
This is Blue. He is a Mustang. And he's at Rating Strip. Blue.
Finn. I thought Finn was... I thought you...